Let's actually dive into that, because I know a lot of people have, lots of ramblings about why it wasn't, one, a man that was part of the Rugby World Cup winning Springbok team last year, and a coach that has an 84, 85 win percentage. Like, what else do you need to do?
I don't know. I don't know what else Rossi should do and could do. I think maybe he should give us another video where he pops the Kogi pen. But in all honesty, I think if you look at over the years of how World Rugby has actually handed out these trophies, it was in most cases for a coach that actually has done something out of the extraordinary.
Yeah.
And if you compare just on that, Rossi made that. If you go further and you look at a coach that maybe has turned the team around, Rossi has done that. Now, if you compare the coach, the French coach and the Sevens coach, that actually handed the trophy to, one has to ask, how much weight does that trophy almost hold? Because yes, he's done well with the French Sevens squad by getting them to win a Sevens leg. And then obviously Olympics. But it's just, for me, it just doesn't have the same as a Rassie who's won 5 out of the last trophies that he played for. So again, the weight of the acknowledgement, one has to question, because ultimately and clearly it's not clear. I don't think it's clear.
That was interesting for me about the evening. I mean, I was on the selection committee, but we didn't select. I don't know who selected the coach of the year. We selected the player of the year. We selected the top 15 team. We selected the women's player of the year. So I don't know who selected the coach of the year. But again, normally the 15th player of the year was the main trophy, and that was the last trophy. So just before that was the coach. All of a sudden, it was almost more about the sevens. The last trophy of the night was the seventh player of the year, that was Anton de Pont. And that was never like that. Yeah. So they've changed all of that around. All of a sudden, the French guy win this trophy. So I think for me, probably a little bit, they want the Northern Hemisphere maybe to win something, to get a little bit of acknowledgement. And also, there was a lot of push at this event as well for women's rugby. That was, I think, was really good.
Yes.
Was for the sevens game. But I still think, 15s is the main event, and it's the thing that brings in all the money. I think if you look at the World Cup, that's still the big focus in world rugby. So for Rossi not to win this, the record he has this year, what he's done with this team, if the French team has won the series as well, different story. Yeah. But they haven't won the series. Argentina has won that. They only won the Olympics. So I think it's a bit tough on Rossi.
We actually had a discussion, and on another program, and the question was asked: should one not maybe have split the two? Have a seventh player of the year, seventh coach of the year, and then have a 15th. Yeah. Because if you compete and you compare apples with apples, it doesn't have the same weight. You could even go further and say maybe you should have a forward player of the year and a backs player of the year. Because then again, that kind of, because let's face it, a guy like Frans Malherbe, for example, he goes to the dark arts, stuff you don't see. But as a forwards coach or someone, you need the forwards to lay the foundation for the backs. And it's an old saying, but unfortunately...
And we spoke about it last week. There's never been a prop forward nominated as a player of the year. And
let alone winning.
If we look at the World Cup last year, Ox has won that World Cup.
Absolutely.
Andre did well, a lot. Peter Steff had a brilliant... Ox won that World Cup for us with his scrummaging. And he should have been there as well.
At least, yeah.
Even this year, he should have been nominated, I think. So it's always very difficult because, you see the fly-offs, you see the loose forwards running out. Maybe second rows, because they're so dominant in the line-outs, running around. But those prop forwards doing the hard work, putting in the hard yards, dark arts, I think they should get more accolades as well.
They're not getting shown a lot of love by World Rugby. I think by fans as well. I don't think we talk enough. Or maybe South Africans do, because we love the scrum.
The one thing where they do get paid, if you go look at the contracts in France, they do get looked after. Don't worry.
So France is showing them love. Maybe that's why France got the trophy.
Yes.
Here we go. Let's look at that dream team, the World Rugby Dream Team. What did you guys think of that? 7 South Africans featured. Fair?
I think it's better. Last year, there was only one after we won the World Cup, Eben.
Right.
This year is better. So I think if we go through there, I thought at tight head, Frans Malherbe should have been there, so I voted for him. Didn't make it. Tad Byrne, I know they're trying to push. I still don't see him as a second rower, so I'm not that sure. I thought Fai from New Zealand were outstanding this year as well. I think he really did well, especially at line-out. They were the best line-out in world rugby. Johnny, you can talk about the back row.
Yeah, definitely. And I think even, I think Kalen Doris had a good season. But whether he, had to compete against Adi Sevilla, Willis Atiti, who I thought, had a great season in terms of his breakthrough year.
Yeah.
Pablo Montero, yeah, maybe. But, I think if you look at this combined team, I think every position can be debated unless you're Springbok.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that fly half.
I'm going to leave for you.
The fly half was, I went with the Argentinian fly half.
Thomas Albanos.
Yeah, I thought he was really good. Sasha was, I think, the favourite running into this. Then he got injured, so he didn't play the last few, and that's, I think, where he fell out of the run. Also, as newcomer of the year, I thought he was also the favourite, and then because he didn't play the last few games.
The
other guy
costly.
still is Andre Pollard. Although he came off the bench a lot, didn't start a lot, every time he came onto the field, I think Andre just showed, I think he's still the best 10 in the world.
But isn't this then maybe an ode to Damien McKenzie and how he's come in and tried to make the number 10 jersey his own?
Yes and no, but again, if that's going to be the thinking, then they should be conclusive and actually consecutive in terms of how they apply themselves. Because again, he played a lot of games off the bench. He wasn't a regular starter for the All Blacks. And then one could always also say the same about Andre Pollard, because yes, he played off the bench, but every time he came on the bench, he had a massive impact, and he managed to win us the game. So I would really want to sit and be a fly against the wall to understand.
In these debates.
Specifically, all the other positions except for the Springboks.
Yeah. The back three?
Yeah, pretty happy. I think Cheslin picks himself. It was a tough decision between Will Jordan and Apelele Fassi. Apelele was really close. And then on the left wing, New Zealand...
Caleb Clark.
Caleb Clark was very close to that left wing position as well. I think he had the second most votes.
Yeah.